Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey. We are a vegan, mostly whole food cooking channel. We do some product reviews. Sometimes there's some episodes with Tim. If you like what you hear so far, please hit that like button. And please think about subscribing and becoming part of the Plant-Based Dads family. We do have a Patreon page set up. Our patrons are our monthly financial supporters that help us put the show together and get that plant-based message out to the masses. If you've ever seen the show, or if you're in the Facebook group and you've thought, how can I help? How can I be part of this? That's how you can help. You can become a monthly financial supporter on Patreon, or you can do a one-time payment on PayPal. There's a link to both Patreon and PayPal in the description below this video on how you can help. We'd love for you to be part of the team, and we can definitely use your help. I'm going to give a quick shout out to JC, Angie, Layla, Mia, and the rest of my 7th grade math class. What's up? You're on YouTube. All right, so I've got a really cool recipe for you today. It's still winter out. Even in Arizona here in Phoenix, it's in the 70s, and for us that's pretty chilly because, you know, it's a dry cold. And I'm going to show you my Instapot cauliflower soup. I love this soup because not only is it in the Instapot, and not only is it made with simple ingredients, but I put in a cup of plant milk. I'm using oat milk at the end just to kind of calm down the cauliflower. If you leave that out, the whole recipe is compatible with Mary's Mini if you're doing a potato mini. This recipe is comprised mostly of potatoes and cauliflower. And by itself, it's a 50-50 meal. You can eat as much as you want of it and you've got your 50-50 plate. So, you know, that alone is a great deal. But if you're on the mini, if you're doing a potato mini, then you've got your 50-50 there. You've got your potatoes for your potato mini, you've got your cauliflower, and you're all set to go. So I absolutely love the versatility of this recipe and the way it works for maximum weight loss, Mary's Mini, and the Starch solution. And plus, with the Instapot, like, you can do things that you can't normally do in a kitchen. For instance, there's this vegan trucker that commented on one of my videos, on the Instapot video. And I was like, oh, a vegan trucker, like, how do you do that? You're on the road, like, how do you find vegan food? So I quick looked at his channel, and I'm gonna put a link to his channel below in the description. And he pulls along the side of the road when he's done trucking for the day, I guess. I don't know how that works, but he's got his Instapot in the truck, right? His little refrigerator and his little light pantry. And he pulls over, instead of, you know, getting something at the truck stop or the Wendy's, he makes himself a vegan Instapot meal, and he looks at YouTube for recipes. And one of my recipes was one of the ones he stumbled across. I had no idea, like, people could use this mobily like that, but it makes sense. Like, if you're in a college dorm room or in a truck like that, and really trying to eat, you know, more or less processed, especially that kind of job where most of your food is processed, I mean, that is amazing. So, you know, it's just kind of given me this whole, like, extra level of love for the Instapot that I didn't have before, even though I already love the Instapot. So today, if you're in your kitchen, if you're in your truck, if you're in your dorm room, this Instapot cauliflower soup recipe is gonna work for you. It's simple ingredients. I put a lot of time into making it look just right for you. Let's get to the food. I'm starting with a cold Instapot, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water so I can get it ready for sauteing my veggies. We're not using oil here, so just a few tablespoons should do it. Next, I'm gonna set my Instapot to saute. Once the water starts steaming, I'm gonna start adding in my aromatics. First, it's 1 large yellow onion, roughly diced. We're gonna blend all this together later on. Next, I'm adding a pinch of Himalayan salt or sea salt. Then I'm gonna grab my spatula and do a little mixy here. And I'm gonna let that saute for about 5 minutes till the onions are soft. If the onions start sticking to the bottom, add a few more tablespoons of water to make sure it doesn't stick. Remember, we're using water, not oil, so the evaporation point is much faster. Just stay after it. After about 5 minutes, when the onions are nice and soft, I'm adding about 6 or 7 cloves of roughly diced garlic. I'm gonna stir all that around to get it combined, and I'm gonna let that cook for about 2 to 3 more minutes. Again, if you need to add water to it so it doesn't stick, then go ahead and do a few tablespoons at a time. I keep stirring this to make sure that nothing burns or sticks. Now it's time to add the bulk. First, I've got a large head of cauliflower that I've cleaned and cut up into florets. I think we're gonna need a bigger Instant Pot. Next, I've got about 4 cups of veggie broth. I'm just using Better Than Bouillon here. Now I'm adding about 1.5 pounds of peeled golden potatoes, and I kind of cut them up so they're all the same size and they'll cook evenly. Now it's time for my spices. I've got about a tablespoon of thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, about 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper, and about 1.5 teaspoons of Himalayan salt. And I'm just gonna dump those right in there. And now I'm gonna give it a good stir. You'll notice I had to switch to my wooden spoon the silicone spatula spoon, it just bent too much when I was doing this, so I needed something much more sturdier. Of course, the wooden spoon is great if you're an Italian mother, you want to whap your kids on the hand. Don't ask how I know about that. Now I'm going to put on the lid, lock it in place, and I'm going to set my valve to sealing position. The next step is to select the soup setting, make sure it's on high pressure, and set the cook time for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, when the cooking is done, I'm going to let the pressure release naturally for 10 minutes. Once that 10 minutes is up, I'm going to release the rest of the pressure myself. I like to put a rag over the valve and then open it up and let the steam come out. As it gets close to the end, you can see right here, this little pressure pin will drop into the cover. You want to wait for that to happen, like it does right here. When that happens, there is no longer any pressure in the Instant Pot, and you can safely open the pot without any problems. Make sure that pin has dropped into the Instant Pot before you open it. Now it's time to take off the lid. You can see here, everything looks nicely cooked. So next I'm grabbing my stick blender, or if you want to be fancy, an immersion blender. And I'm going to start blending this soup up. If you don't have an immersion blender, you could dump it into a stand blender and do it in batches. But I'm just going to do it right here in the Instant Pot. It should be nice and creamy, just like this. The next step is to add 1 cup of plant milk. I'm using Planet Oat. I added about 1/4 cup at a time. Next you want to taste it for seasonings. I felt like it needed a little bit more time, so I just sprinkled a little more in. I also felt like it needed some more pepper, because I like a lot of pepper. I want to taste the pepper in the soup. And then I'm going to take my stick blender and just give it a little bit more blending just to get all those spices combined. And now it's ready to go. Look how good this looks. That's going to be an amazingly creamy, delicious soup. Now for the taste test, let's see what I've got. And it's good. Let's plate this baby up. I'm hungry. I tried a bunch of fancy bowls here for plating this up, but really the white one was the simplest. So I'm just going to ladle some of this soup out into this bowl. I know my ladle game needs to be upgraded. And I'm going to top it with a little bit of toasted panko breadcrumbs. I toasted these on the skillet myself. I'm also adding some torn up pieces of Swiss chard right from my garden. I thought the color would be really nice. And then I've sliced up some scallions or spring onions or green onions, depending on where you're from. And I'm going to throw those on top. And you can see this is Tim's hand here because he insisted on putting some red chili paste on it. So there it is. Tim's also adding some crushed red pepper on top of here. And Doll Strong sent me a silverware set that I'll do an unboxing for at some point. But here's a spoon from that set, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to pair that right there with the bowl and the plate. And there you have it. An amazing bowl of Instant Pot cauliflower soup. How good does that look? It smells amazing, and let me just tell you, it tastes fantastic. I can't wait to dig into this. So what did you think? Is this something you're gonna make? It's perfect for the Mary's Mini, it's perfect for maximum weight loss, and it's perfect for the starch solution. That's the trifecta of weight loss right there. That's our video for today. Please hit that like button, show us some love. What's not to like? We've got Instant Pot cauliflower soup. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Monday. And please leave a comment below. How do you feel about the Instant Pot? Are you in a mobile space where you don't have a lot of room or you don't have a full kitchen? Is this something you use a lot? I absolutely love it, and I use it at least 3 or 4 times a week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.